Alright everyone, in this video we're going to demo what we did in our MFE setup. We already got it working, but this is in Angular 13 because this is the only sample that we have. We are going to replicate what we learned here to the upper versions of Angular. So let's I'll try to explain because when I tried to record my workflow earlier, I was recording the wrong screen, and that's why yeah, I'll just explain what we did here, right? So we have two applications. One, both are Angular. One is the host, and one is the remote. In the host, what we did is first we check the version of the module federation that we're going to use. Currently, the Angular version that we're using is Angular 13, and the compatible version of that is Module Federation 14, and it is also because this is the module federation used in the sample GitHub repository that we are trying to study how he implemented module federation for web components via web components, right? So first install module federation, and then it's going to create bootstrap here. It's going to update the main.ts, and it also updates the angular.json. We don't touch the angular.json. We don't touch package.json. We just installed a module federation. This one here. We just installed this one here, and the webpack. Yeah. So this is also the webpack that was webpack.config.js that was generated when we installed when we added module federation into this host web app. The only thing is hey, what is this? Yeah, this one. Supposed to share. Where is that? Host, remote host. All right, host. And why is it like that? Hold on. Okay. So this is the host. This is consuming the remote. Okay, so this is the setup. We did not touch anything here in the webpack.config. The only thing that we did is in the routing here. This is how we route the regular components in Angular, but for the remote MFE, we use this a matcher. It starts with this. I don't know why it looks like that, but inside the starts with, it's going to parse the URL segment. It looks for it's mapping the path, join it with this one, and I'm not sure why it joins full URL starts with prefix. Prefix is the um, yeah, so prefix is this remote, okay, and then I don't know what's the consumer, right? So but this is the we just copy and pasted that somewhere. All right, and then we created a component wrapper. So this component wrapper is where we load. This one here is our remote app, and this is this app here. We loaded the remote entry, and then we define the exposed module. So this exposed module is defined here, and the webpack.config.js. So we exposed the we named it web components, and then we exposed the bootstrap.ts, and the file name is remote entry.js, and our bootstrap here in the remote looks like this, right? So Bootstrap, we also just copy and pasted this somewhere in the sample code. Um, so it's not that I don't know what it is doing, but we can study it later. So what we did here is we created a view child. So this is the view child here, and we can actually remove this two here. We don't need this, right? So template URL, this one here, we defined the view child we define here, element ref. So it will get this. This is the element name that we define in our route. Our route is here. So the element name, we can actually remove this. We don't need this. So we say that give me the element name and load the component wrapper. So the component wrapper get the element name. So it will create the element name, but it have to wait first for this to load, and once the JavaScript is loaded into the host, it's going to create the element name and append it to the view child. Okay, so I don't know what's the magic, what magic is going on there, but yeah, that is what we just did. And I think it's pretty basic. This is the only thing. Our relative link resolution, we added that. And yeah, so this one here, we added this to load, and then yeah, this one here, this is the util that we use to parse the URL path that we need. Here we don't do anything. We don't do anything here as well. We just define the navigation. And yeah, and then that's it for the host. And for the remote, we first, yeah, as I've said here, we also yeah, added the module federation, same version as the host, but we're going to experiment if this will still work, if there will be different versions, because that is what me and my team were trying to solve, and if that will fix it. Okay, so but first, before we check with different versions, we're going to make this work in oh and oh in upper Angular versions. Okay, so first we install the module federation, and then we install the Angular elements. So these are the versions that are compatible to the current Angular version that we're using, Angular 13. And then after that, we don't do anything here. We just want this to appear, this component, and I think everything will be magic for the child routes. But yeah, we still have to dig in more to that, but this is already working. So our app module, we create the app component as an Angular, as a web component. So this one here is as a custom element, and we can check that here in the host. We define that one in yeah, here, right? So element name, the element name that we pass is this element name, same with element name here, and this element name is what we say here to create that element name and put it into the view child. So this is what we set um, in the remote app. And after setting it in the remote app in the bootstrap.ts, it's also We also updated the bootstrap.ts, and then we exposed that here in the webpack.config.js. So we still have a lot of things to do here. Maybe first we're going to implement the auth0 multi-module, multi-routing if it will work, and then we are then going to implement this to a higher version of Angular where it will be using um, standalone components. And yep, that's it, guys. As you can see in our sample here, it is working here. This is the remote, this is the host, remote, host, remote, host, remote. And we might want also to add more projects so that MFE so that we can check if multiple um, web component module federation MFE can be served in the host app. All right, cool. Thanks. Bye bye.